Hello everyone, greetings dear Aristobats, fellow immortals and mortals yet to be claimed by the night. Welcome to this lady's humble abode. Today we'll be doing Jiu Niangzi's backstory. Finally, I reached part 19 and it sure made my life difficult, but I beat it. Honestly, I must be the only reverse player that actually had a hard time with this part, because it had a balancing effect. It was turning all your characters to inside 3 if they were 6 stars, that is, and I kept getting defeated. It didn't make sense. But some kind of Aristobats helped me out with it, told me to focus more on the side cubes I was using, and I also realized after losing 3 to 4 times that the reason this was happening was because I was using a 4-star in the battle and it couldn't go past inside 2 level 50, so that's why I kept losing. It just made sense. No matter how powerful I had turned her, I needed 4 characters that could go up to inside 3 level 20. With one this low, it was just impossible to beat the boss. But yeah, I made it in the end, so we're good now. And we can finally explore one backstory from this patch. Let's go. So here's the thing. When I unlocked her backstory, I pressed on the banner of the backstory, that light to the tavern one, and it immediately took me to the prelude of the story. I skipped it, I didn't watch it, so I'm hoping that play button over there shall let me rewatch it, because I didn't watch it, and I want to before we get started. There's also something very different about this backstory. I see there are also surveys, which I don't know what they are. I presume there's something like a mini game like we had with Ezra. It remains to be seen. This artwork is so amazing though. She's so pretty there with the deer and all. And I'm hoping that we'll touch what we saw with the deers in the part 19 battle. I'm hoping we will get to hear about those. And what is their significance to Jiu? Let's get started. Play, please give me the prelude, please. Oh, thank goodness it is a prelude. To the town. Xiangrui is not supposed to have any personal feelings. She fell because of you, because of the personal feeling. Remember that. Stay in the city, be their guardian, be a Xiangrui. Be a Xiangrui, and then you will understand her. Earthen ramparts and stone walls rise up on the horizon. The towering city gates loom ahead. Travelers come and go, pausing only briefly with the gates shadowed to undergo inspection before being granted entry to the city. Also, wait a minute. I thought when Jiu came to Pay City with that man, I forget the term we used for him, I thought that when she came with him to the city, she was an adult. But as it turns out, she was actually a child when that happened. I would like to reread the first lines because they were fast. So, a Xiangrui is not supposed to have any personal feelings, probably in order not to favor anybody over another. She fell because of you, because of the personal feeling. Remember that. Are we talking about her mother? Perhaps. Stay in the city, be their guardian, be a Xiangrui. Be a Xiangrui, and then you will understand her. So, if her mother was the Xiangrui, that's why it was so important for her to be a successful Xiangrui, because she really yearned to understand her mother. I'm guessing this is the she we're talking about. I don't know. We'll see. Let's keep going. A bullock cart sandwiched within the procession slowly advances. It is halted in its tracks. Hey, stop there. What's in the cart? Just some dried mushrooms I bought to sell, sir. Despite this claim, the thatched mat covering the cart is bulging unnaturally, as though something is hidden underneath. The guard prods it with the scabbard of his sword. A small figure springs out from beneath it, startling everyone in the vicinity. She's chewing on a piece of dried mushroom, mumbling under her breath.
To Pay City.
Oh, look at her. Who are you? Why are you in my cart? Hey, you're eating my mushrooms.
Mommy isn't here. The Taoist asked me to go to the city. Bay City. I'm hungry.
Oh, Taoist. Taoist is the term I was looking for. So the dude actually left her in the cart of a merchant and left? He didn't even deliver her to the city? You know what? What if the Taoist was her father and she just didn't know? Okay, I'm having so many scenarios in my head right now, but yeah, I'll wait to see what happens because I will start spewing stories again and none of this is going to be accurate. Perhaps she got separated from family. What's your name? Where did you come from? The guard extends his hand to help her down from the cart. She rejects the offer, instead grabbing another handful of mushrooms and stuffing them into her mouth. Then, with a deft leap, she lands on the back of the ox pulling the cart. Hey, kid! Get down! Now! The girl moves nimbly like a little bouncing bean, striding with ease as she darts between the carts and horses. In the blink of an eye, she vanishes without a trace. She's a capable little girl. Okay, so this was the prelude to Light of the Tavern. Let's start from stage 1 and then do the survey because I'm guessing these are related to each chapter. The 3rd and the 9th. The main street of Pei City bustles with activity. Crowds throng the thoroughfare. The cries of vendors ring out, silks drape high over the streets, and piles of red pomegranates and walnuts rise in little towers on the market stalls. I really thought this line was going to go, that's why I sped up. A vendor pulls some freshly baked sesame buns out of the earthen oven behind him and lays them in a steaming stack on the stall counter. They exude an aromatic fragrance. The little girl is huddled in front of the stall, her head barely peeking above the tabletop, her eyes unblinking, transfixed by the sesame buns.
Yum, yum.
Gimme. The little girl points into her open mouth with her finger. Oh goodness.
Feeling hungry.
Aww. No money, no food. I'm running a business here. Now go away, shoot. The little one, not understanding a word, casually snatches up a bun and devours it. In recent days, the entire merchant hub has come to know this little beggar, whose origins remain unknown, as she wanders the streets all day and night. Hey, beggar girl, give that back! You've been stealing buns for me for days! Although the little one does not understand the purpose of these words, she can still sense the building rage behind them. She turns tail and flees, but before she can take more than a step, she collides head-on with two figures. The larger one catches her wrist.
Where are you going?
I've heard endless complaints about your stealing. You're not getting away. Not this time. I'll get you locked away in prison. Then you'll never steal again. I wouldn't have expected the fat child to deal with little girls. I assume she committed a felony. What you don't know, sir, is that this little beggar has been wandering the streets for days. No one knows where she came from. When she's thirsty, she drinks from the horse troghs. Troghs? And when she's hungry, she steals food from the vendors. She's quick as a stallion, too. No one could catch her when she entered the city. The patroller informed me a few days ago. The little girl struggles, attempting to break free from the large hand that grips her. Li Zhang leans down to scrutinize the young offender.
Huh?
What's your name? Have you ever been to school? No? Can you talk?
I need to stay in the city. The city needs a Xiangrui.
She can talk. Perhaps she is from a distant family and something happened to them. Isn't it too harsh to put a little girl who has suffered so much into prison? Let's not make a fuss of it. Actually, I was thinking that prison will provide her with food and shelter. In the meantime, I could work on locating her parents. My apologies. I suppose you are considerate under that harsh exterior of yours. Li Zhang straightens up and strokes his beard. He appears to have already devised a plan for the beggar child's fate. After making their way down several streets, the three of them arrive at a tavern. It is filled with patrons. Amidst the clinking of cups and the raising of toasts, idle chatter and laughter abound. creating a sense of merriment. As they enter, the scent of liquor hits the nostrils. A graceful figure moves swiftly among the clientele, her presence is striking as it is efficient. Welcome, Li Jiang, Fa. What brings you here? Take a seat. You came just the right time. I have some jars of melon brew that I haven't opened yet. I'm thinking that a couple of distinguished guests can do me a favor and have the first cup. Miss Zhu, I'm guessing. Shu? It's either Shu or Zhu. Miss Shu, you slippery little thing. If Li Jiang hadn't come today, when would you have told us about these new arrivals? I usually see X used as a shi in Chinese names from games I've played, so I'm guessing it's Shu. If not, correct me in the comments, please. Poor us, not even qualified to smell it. Miss Shu feigns annoyance, playfully scolding her patrons with a smile. They burst into laughter. As this moment passes, one patron stands to invite the two officials to take a seat.
No.
We're not here to drink. You're not? Oh, well, everything's above board here. I've never even watered down a drink. Just ask my guests, they'll tell you. Don't worry, Miss Shu. We're just here to check up on the stores. Is everything going well with your tavern? Yes, everything's fine. Some drinkers can get really talky, but that's all. No troublemakers, thanks to your management. You know, most days I have plenty of time to make the rice buns that I sell to the locals. But on liquor permit days, there are so many patrons in the tavern I have to serve all of them myself.
What a coincidence.
I've just found you a helper. Pa Chao steps aside. He's about to introduce the child to Miss Shu when he turns around to find that the little beggar has disappeared without a trace. She was here just now. Where did she go? After a thorough search, they find her curled up behind the counter. She refuses to answer any of their questions. Li Jiang, don't tell me this is the new helper you were talking about.
All right. Exactly.
There's no way I can take her. She looks more like a wild beast than a child, and she can't even speak fluently. She seems totally uncivilized. How could a girl like this help me? Honestly, if she stays here, I'll have to spend just as much time taking care of her as I do the tavern. Li Jiang, you better not throw this hot potato to me. You're right. She needs to be civilized. That's why I brought her here. Everyone in the city knows you're as sharp as a tack. Why, you could teach a monkey to talk if you had to. Besides, you're a kind person. No one is more suited to take care of a little girl than you. We have no clue where we might find her parents. We can just let her wander the streets. What about the charity hall? I'm running a tavern here, not a school. Besides, she hasn't spoken a word since she got here. Is she some sort of dumb? Upon hearing the word dumb, the beggar girl stands up and dusts off her sleeves. She looks around the room, finally resting her gaze upon Miss Shu.
I'm not dumb. My mommy called me Joe.
Oh, protect! Protect! Jiu. Does that mean you're the 9th in your family? Well, it's easy to remember. See? She didn't say a word to us the whole way here, but she's already talking to you. 3 and 9. What kind of fate could this be, if not a twisted one? Oh, so her name means 3? Interesting. Somehow, the pure gaze and innocent, carefree demeanor of this little beggar makes her difficult to shoo away. Eventually, Miss Shu's tone softens. Jiu, huh? You've been begging for days, yet you still had the energy to run and hide in the tavern. You must be healthy. She's quite the runner. Many adults couldn't keep up with her. Maybe she can help you run errands. But you see, the extra food and clothing. I can barely earn enough money to fit myself. Li Jiang wastes no time in instructing Facha to produce the settlement fee and hand it over to Miss Shu. The patrons gather, eager to see the amount, but Miss Shu waves them off with a flick of her wrist. They laugh among themselves and return to downing their drinks. This could be enough for now. But kids go fast, you know. I'll have to get her new clothes, new shoes every now and then. I've heard many rumors of Shu's silver tongue. You surely don't disappoint.
Never mind.
All right, you've just won yourself the position of supplier to the Jitsu. You'll be responsible for the ceremonial liquors during festivals. Oh wait! Is Miss Shu the woman that was in charge of the jutsu before Ju? Is she the person she turned, like the one who suddenly had to return to her family and left her in charge? Huh. Thank you so much, Li Zhang. I'll make the best liquor for the ceremonies. And of course, I'll take good care of her. With matters concluded, Li Zhang and Fa Chao do not linger any longer. There are still many tasks awaiting them in the city, and so they take their leave. The tavern quickly regains its early liveliness. On this precious liquor permit day, not a single moment must be wasted. Miss Shu is still adjusting to the sudden arrival of her unexpected helper.
Okay. Follow me.
You'll be staying in the tavern from now on. Starting tomorrow, you'll help me run the business. If you need anything, just tell me. Oh, and don't steal from others again.
Water? I'm thirsty.
Water's in the yard. I'll get it for you. Two officials walk down the street, their pace leisurely as they converse about the events of the day. Li Zhang, why did you do all that to help that beggar girl? When I first looked at that girl, I had the feeling that I'd seen her before. Besides, it would be a pity to have such a bright young thing roaming the streets. Fa Chao nods, habitually pressing down on the short sword at his waist and casting a final glance back at the tavern before turning into a side street. I see. You'll sleep here tonight. It used to be the utility room, but I've cleaned it, and the bed's new. I heard that you slept on the street, so I guess you're not afraid of the dark. I sleep in the room next to yours. Call me if you need anything.
Yes, sleep when you're sleepy.
Ju rests her hands by her ear, tilts her head, and feigns the sound of slumber. The child's innocent and carefree spirit softens Miss Shu's heart, prompting her to leave a few tender instructions before departing.
I'm alone now. Don't sleep on the street anymore.
Yielding to the moment, the child lies on the floor of the room. Tonight, there are no twinkling stars to accompany her, no cool breeze to caress her, only the faintly discernible beams overhead. With a rustling sound, a troop of wooden dolls materializes out of thin air. They frolic and cavort on the bed, the ground, and on Ju's clothes. Okay, let's see if I can do the condensed voice of these.
New place, fun. Liquor jars. Customers raising the cups.
The wooden dolls turn the day's sights into lyrical verses in an endless song. One doll pushes through the other, leaping down from the bed to whisper into Ju's ear.
You're having a lot. They're not personal feelings. You don't know anything. What the doll said. You're annoying. I'm sleeping now. I need to run a business tomorrow. Do you even know what a business means? Me neither. Maybe it means, I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Okay, the dolls are a little hard to do, but it's okay. Listen, I can do a chipmunk voice, okay? I can do it. But it hasn't been enough hours since I woke up and my voice is still a little husky, so I can't go this high as of yet. But eventually I might be able to, who knows. So about this chapter, I have to say, it still gives me heavy Spirited Away vibes. Like, you cannot tell me this whole patch, this whole event wasn't inspired by Spirited Away. Like, we had the people turn into horses, right? Like the parents of the protagonist in Spirited Away were turned to pigs. And now we have this case in which, as a child, Zhe was brought to a lady to care for her until they find the parents, alright? Just like the protagonist in Spirited Away was given to one of the girls working at the big bathhouse and was told to take care of her. But at first she too was like, oh, I ain't caring for her. I don't have the time. I don't have the money or whatnot. And after everything was arranged, she treated her very sweetly, you know, even though she was negative in the beginning. And we also have the little dolls that remind me of the little black thingies. How were they called, damn it? You know, those things that were walking with the guy on the motorbike that was putting coal in the fire for the bathhouse to work? Those little ones, the black ones, that look like spiders. I believe they were a suit of some sort. I don't remember, it's been years since I watched that movie. But yeah, heavy Spirited Away vibes. Okay, so it appears that the surveys have nothing to do with the story, they're just battles, so we can go on with the story without much care about them. Stage 2, what the Xiangruis do. As the sun begins to rise, so too does the sound of clanging and clattering, a cacophony of pots and pans crescendos, accompanied by the clinking of liquor jars being shuffled about. Suddenly, the door is thrust open.
Hey,
Rise and shine, girl. It's the liquor permit day. Guests are coming. It's going to be a long day. If only they would go to work as early as they come to the tavern. Why are you sleeping on the floor? Did you fall down in your sleep? Get up, come on, don't get cold.
I don't wanna wake up.
Me.
Sleep is good.
It is. What a lazy girl. No work, no food. You're not going to steal from me like you did from those vendors on the street. I'll get you to work. Miss Yu swiftly lifts the sluggard from the ground, dusts off the dirt from her body, wipes her face, and pushes her at the door. It seems that, for the first time in years, Jiu is not allowed to wake up on her own accord. In the tavern, our business is to sell people liquor and earn money. To work here, you'll need to be able to recognize all the liquors. Whatever the customer orders, we serve them. Every patron, rich or poor, has their own preferences. It is only through matching those preferences that you make money in this business. A wealthy man won't always want the most expensive wine, and a poor man would always want the cheapest. Your first task is to memorize all the names of the different liquors.
I don't want to do business. Too sleepy. And I don't want to remember anything. The street is better. I just take whatever I want.
Taking things without the permission is called stealing. That's what thieves do. Listen, here, in my tavern, you need to work to get food. Otherwise, I'll only give you water.
sweetie, every living person needs a certain job to make a living.
Yes, you'll be tired, exhausted even, but through work, you can earn the food you need.
小九.
Do you understand, Jiu?
I guess.
Work for food or go hungry? This straightforward explanation leaves no room for debate. Miss Yu feels satisfied that she has corrected the girl's beggar-like behavior by a fraction or two. Miss Yu then leads Jiu to the front hall of the tavern. As the sun rises higher, the streets become busier. Several early patrons have already arrived at the tavern and are now peering in from the entrance. Miss Yu quickly ushers them to the seats and ladles out their liquor, serving them according to their respective preferences. Once they settle in, Miss Yu takes Jiu aside for a more detailed instruction. Different liquors taste different and have different costs. There are 3 aspects through which you can tell liquors apart: transparency, scent, and taste. A good liquor should be transparent, have a mellow aroma, and have a long-lasting aftertaste.
No.
That's what the customers are after. Accompanied by Jiu, Monsieur saunters past the liquor cabinet, where rows of liquor jars stand like a troop of portly warriors awaiting the general's inspection. The vermilion paper jackets on the jars present their whimsical nicknames, each more amusing than the last, while wafts of fragrant spirits drift from the rims. However, Jiu does not recognize the characters. Instead, she memorizes the brushstrokes as if they were the components of a painting.
They smell better than flowers, and each one has a different scent.
Of course.
Of course I do. Every liquor has its own unique fragrance.
Come here.
Now, look at these jars. This is Fushui. The one next to it is Earth Spring. The one above is West Fair. And here is the bestseller, Great Mister. This is the Samel liqueur. My ancestors learned the recipe from Persian merchants. It's made of multiple fruits and helps work up your appetite and digest food.
小九.
Do you remember all that? Repeat what I just said. Jiu counts on her fingers, carefully recalling each detail.
Dirty things? West hair? Crazy, sir. Sunny liquor. Helps work out.
Jiu's words draw laughter from the patrons who have been keenly listening to this recent round of instruction. What an interesting errand girl. I think her names are even better than yours. Mr. Sham, don't make fun of her. What was that? She didn't recount a single word correctly. But I would surrender to Li Jing so easily. In so few words, he convinced me to commit this act of charity. And he said I was the one with the silver tongue. Who knew that kind of monsieur could get so frustrated? You sound like a stubborn old teacher. I'm not sure about the stubborn and old part, but yes, I'll have to become at least a half-teacher.
No.
This is the little girl Li Jing brought here. Her name is Jiu. Though she lacks social skills, she seems pretty smart.
The Taoist said smart is good.
Lady Xu.
You're being too harsh on her, monsieur. It's not Jiu's fault. The names are hard to remember. You should teach her little by little, like how we start drinking liquor from a small cup, then move on to a bowl. Let us start with serving the liquor. Come, Jiu, give me a bowl of Earth Spring. It's her first day. She won't know which is which. I'll get it. Before she can move, Jiu dashes to the liquor cabinet. She peers left and right, fiercely sniffing the air, determined to pinpoint which jar contains Earth Spring. Miss Xu jumps on this opportunity, signaling with her eyes for Jiu to fetch the third jar on the first roll. See, she did it. Told you she could handle it. Maybe she'll even replace you in a couple of years. I couldn't ask for more. She'll do all the work, and I'll just sit back and enjoy my life. Not to mention that I won't have to deal with the mess you leave behind anymore. Upon opening the jar of Earth Spring, a unique fragrance bursts forth. The Peilin River winds around Pei City, and it is from the river's upper reaches that Monsieur draws the water, for only this crisp and clear liquid can brew such a uniquely fragrant liquor. Old Drinker is imagining the liquor from the jar filling his personal bowl in a steady stream, but the young girl before him plunges her hand into the jar, scoops up a handful of the crisp, exquisite liquor, and presents it to him capped in her hands. Oh!
Drink, sir.
Please.
Drink, please.
Before she can finish speaking, the Earth Spring liquor has already slipped through her fingers, drenching the patron's lap hole. The tavern's patrons are at first taken aback, and they burst into hearty laughter. These guests love liquor. They cherish it dearly. But what they love even more is the atmosphere that comes with drinking it. For these patrons, when they are enjoying liquor, all things are filled with joy. Sorry about this one-of-a-kind palm drink. It's the first day here. Please give her some patience. Have 2 more bowls of West Fair. On the house. I would give you the Earth Spring, but she put her hands into it, so I'm afraid the flavor has been altered. Despite these apologies, Miss Xu does not blame the girl. Instead, she examines her small hands over and over, fearing the strong liquor might have burned her skin. She then fetches a cloth to clean up the spilled liquor on the table. Old Drinker is not annoyed in the slightest. Having gained 2 large bowls of West Fair for free, he is naturally delighted and moves to another table to continue drinking.
How strange.
Weird. He didn't get angry. He just kept drinking. What does liquor taste like?
It tastes complicated. It can bring people joy, but also great sorrow. I'll leave it to you to find out, but only after you grow up. Hearing this, Jiu immediately dips a finger into the puddle of liquor on the table, intending to taste it. Fortunately, Miss Xu intercepts her.
Hey,
Wait, I just said after you grow up. Don't be so hasty, little lady. And don't use your hands. I know that's how you used to drink from the troughs, but here it's very rude. From now on, no matter if it's water, tea, or liquor, use a bowl. It's called manners. Tomorrow I'll buy a bowl with your name on it so you don't confuse yours with the others and ask questions when you don't know what to do. Don't just act on impulse like you did today, understood? And as she speaks, Miss Zhu tilts the liquor jar in her hand. With a gentle gargling sound, the liquor streams like a string of glazed beads, spilling onto a jade plate and fills the clay bowl of the patron in front of her. Thank you. Zhu watches intently, her eyes unblinking and nostrils flared. The ethereal aroma of the liquor wafts through the air, compelling her to reach out and scoop up a handful. Then, like a beast quenching its thirst, she tilts her head back and pours it in her mouth. Not a soul around her is quick enough to intervene. In an instant, an indescribable taste spreads across her tongue, unlike anything the child has ever tasted before.
It's burning. It's burning my tongue so hot.
Oh goodness, this feels a lot like a certain drink we have here in Greece, specifically the region I am from. It's very, very strong, and there are many times that kids accidentally taste it because grandpas drink it, and it is so clean like water. So I too was a victim of this. Like, I was very thirsty, and I had put some water in a glass, okay? And this glass I left by my grandfather's drink. So when I was thirsty again after playing and went for my glass, I got the wrong glass and downed half of that liquor. My goodness, my eyes turned around. It was very strong. And there were so many kids I knew back then who had told me they'd also experienced that by accident because it looks like water. So yeah, I get this feeling.
Not sweet, not bitter. Something going into my nose.
Her throat instantly begins to burn, and tears and snot threaten to run from her eyes and nose. She scrunches up her face, fanning her mouth with her hand, and smacks her tongue against the roof of her mouth.
Bleh, this is disgusting. It burns. Why do people like this?
Hey,
Oh my, don't do that again, Jiu. And you're too young to understand why. Besides, no one can drink this kind of thing every day. At this moment, a patroller enters the tavern carrying a bundle of clothes in his hand. He stands firm in the center of the hall, service room, and heads straight for Monsieur. Monsieur, here are some old clothes from Li Zheng's family. All urgently used. He said to give it to the beggar. She's not a beggar anymore. Her name is Zhu. Please send my thanks to Li Zheng. And thank you too, sir. You've come all the way here. Why not take a rest and have a drink? Tomorrow is the start of the liquor ban, so you'll have to wait half a month before we can serve you again. I'm surprised they have a liquor ban in such a city, because usually the liquor ban started... Well, when was it? I looked it up at some point for something I was writing about. I don't remember now, but I read about the bans, and I don't understand why a city this country-like would be so concerned about how much people drink. Because usually, I mean, in countryside, people don't really care about this stuff. That's what I mean. But I'm still on duty. Oh, but could you fill my water bag for later? I'll drink with my friends after duty hours. As Monsieur opens the jar and pours the liquor, the patrons around her begin to whisper among themselves. Liquor ban, liquor permit. Look how we suffer from them. Oh my goodness, I hate when people are like that. It's just liquor, my dude. All because of that darn regulation. No group drinking except holidays. If only they had just banned group drinking, but they've stopped all drinking altogether. We became friends by drinking together in this tavern, but because of the ban, we have less than 2 weeks a month when we can even drink. You know, you can just gather up and spend time with each other without drinking. Listen, I know this is a very strong thing in Asian countries. No, you know what? Maybe it's not all Asian countries, but in Japan, for example, it's very prominent. Like, people get together and drink, and this is a way to have fun. And don't get me wrong, people gather up and drink alcohol here as well, let's be clear, but it's not that of a big deal. Like, it's something casual people do, but in Japan, for example, it is very important even in the job fields. Like, you create a relationship around this type of hangout with the people you work with. I never understood it. I absolutely hate alcohol in every form, I think. The only alcohol I am okay with is champagne, and that is because it feels like a fizzy drink and not really alcohol. I don't know. But yeah, I generally, I will never understand the big deal about alcohol, or people who cannot find joy in hanging out with others unless there's alcohol involved. Like, do you really need that to have a good time? Anyway, funny you say that, Mr. Shen. I've seen you drinking a lot, no matter on band days or permit days. See? Shh. Watch your mouth. The two patrons steal a glance at the patroller nearby, the voice is fading to a whisper. The daylight hours fly by swiftly. Come nightfall, Jiu lies on her bed, soreness in her body and weariness in her legs. She has run back and forth through the front hall all day. In the darkness, the wooden dolls emerge once more, hopping onto the bed one after the other and dancing beside her.
Lying down, lying down. Working is exhausting. Working is hard. How was the business? Business is tiring, but there are interesting things, dirty things, wasted, crazy stuff. These are very spicy liquors, you know. Where is Xiangrui? Don't forget Xiangrui. Stop rushing me. I'll look for it. The people here know so many things, especially Monsieur.
Oh, so by what the Taoist said, she understood she had to find a Xiangrui, not become one? Weren't the words we saw in the beginning addressed to her? Oh, there we go with confusing me.
With Xiangrui. What exactly is a Xiangrui?
Sorry guys, I don't know where the official voice acting stops in these stories, I'm afraid. Stage 3, Idle Time. No customers today? Afraid not. We're in liquor bun after all.
Who decided what to do on different days anyway? Isn't today just a normal day like any other?
Much time passes. Jiu has grown considerably taller, no longer bearing the feral appearances she once had. The patrons have bestowed upon her the nickname Jiu Niangzi, regarding her as a young maiden charged with selling and serving liquor, and indeed as Monsieur's successor. It didn't take long for her to shed her childhood demeanor. These days she is immersed in the atmosphere of the tavern. She converses back and forth with the patrons with ease. Jiu Niangzi half-heartedly wipes the dust off the liquor jars, having counted the bowls behind the counter numerous times. She wanders the hall, idle and bored, and begins to read the regulations on liquor sale and consumption placard posted on one of the pillars.
I can read it, save for a few characters. The customers talk about it all the time, so often that I can even recite it now. This regulation aims to prioritize the use of grain for food over liquor. Monsieur reads it during the liquor ban too, as if it could make the permit days come sooner.
The regulations are filled with verbose and tedious phrases, but it is only at the end that it clearly states. Citizens are permitted to drink during holidays and on the 1st and 15th days of the month. Drinking is prohibited on all other days, including group drinking, private drinking, and sale of liquor in taverns.
If not liquor, what else would be sold in a tavern? Whoever made this decision clearly doesn't understand what people want.
Interesting, we call taverns places we actually go to eat and have alcohol, so if alcohol was banned here too, people would still go to taverns to have something to eat. But it's not the same here, it's also a different era, I get it.
Or do they? There are lots of rules here and don't let people do what they want. Is it on purpose? Li Jiang manages a merchant hub. Is he a guardian? Is he a Xiangrui?
A knock echoes at the door. In accordance with the regulations, the tavern can only open the door halfway on liquor ban days. A patron slips into the front hall, flipping a few copper coins in hand and greeting like an old friend.
Lady Shu.
I'll have 3 rice buns, the freshly made ones. Truly, no one makes better rice buns than you. Can't you save me some next time? Every time I'm a little bit late, we're sold out. On the table lies a large basket, brimming with small golden crispy buns with sesame seeds sprinkled on top. Here, they are known simply as rice buns. Monsieur moves as fast as serving liquor, picks out 3 rice buns, and hands them over to the patron. Glad you like them. As you know, we can't do liquor business during the band. Luckily, the rice we use to make liquor can be made into buns. We wouldn't be able to make a living if we didn't make these, and of course, if we didn't have your and the neighbors' support. Hey, isn't this Jiu Niangzi? I thought you just slept in the back during the liquor bun.
Sleep? No work, no food. It's as simple as that. So I need to work too. Sweep the floor, wipe the jars, all the cleaning, really.
Look at you, giving me a full speech. I remember when you first got here, you could barely say a full sentence. What a blessing it is that Monsieur took you in. She's fed and taught you all this time. Make sure you thank her properly when you've grown up, eh?
Blessing.
Blessing. Monsieur takes out a small cup and fills it with the tea from the teapot on the counter, inviting the visitor to drink it. Thank you. I always get thirsty on my trip over here. What a nice tea this is. A sip of clear tea like this is sure to melt the worries away. You really know how to run a business, monsieur. You flatter me. I'm just putting myself in the customer's shoes. It's the only way to run a long-lasting business, with a liquor ban ongoing and counting rice buns and tea to make a living. Throughout the morning, a steady stream of customers come to buy her buns, until only 7 or 8 remain in the basket. Those who come too late truly will miss out. After purchasing their buns, the patrons always make a point to drink up a cup of tea in the tavern, draining it in one gulp. Only then do they leave contented.
Monsieur, the buns are selling quickly. Every time I go to the street, people ask me if there are any left. Why don't we just sell buns instead of liquor? Then we wouldn't need to run around and serve patrons. We'd just sit here and pass them on to the customers.
What are you talking about? We're running a tavern, not a bakery. People buy our buns because they're made in a tavern. If we didn't make liquor, we wouldn't have the ingredients to make them.
But aren't they made of rice?
The rice buns in the basket continue to emit their fragrance, a scent both familiar and foreign to Jiu Niangzi. She has never seen how these buns are made. She retires early each night, only to awaken to the enticing aroma the next morning. By then, Monsieur has already prepared a basket full of rice buns and it is setting them up on the table. Yes, but not entirely. They're made with the rice from the tavern. We use grain to make liquor, including rice, wheat, millet, and many others. You see, I always go to the grain store myself to get the best ingredients. After liquor is made, the lees left are called Jiu Niangzi. Similar to your name, rice buns are made of Jiu Niangzi and buckwheat flour.
Oh, I didn't know that. No wonder it smells better than other buns.
But it comes at a cost. Making buns is more tiring than making liquor. As she speaks, Monsieur playfully taps the tip of Jiu Niangzi's nose. The freshly made rice buns taste the best. They lose the fragrance after a day. To make the buns, we need to take the Jiu Niangzi out of the liquor jar before 3 in the morning and mix the flour before 5. Knead and shape nearly 100 of them, then heat the earthen oven and put them inside. I wouldn't have to work so hard if there were no liquor buns, let alone the neighborhood is counting on me to make the buns.
Neighborhood is counting on you? People need Monsieur.
Though Monsieur speaks only of making buns and other mundane tasks, she gives her listening pause for thought. Jiu Niangzi's heart stirs. She suddenly recalls the words of the Taoist.
Do you know that?
Monsieur, do you know what a Xiangrui is? I heard that it's something good.
Where did you hear about that? Oh, from the drinkers, of course. They're just drunk and talking nonsense. Don't take it seriously. But I've heard about Xiangrui. They say they're divine beasts, guardians with special power.
Have you seen it before? Can I see it?
Upon hearing that Monsieur holds some insight on Xiangrui, Jiu Niangzi becomes quite agitated, eagerly moving closer to her. Monsieur has no choice but to guide Jiu Niangzi to first take a seat before she begins speaking to her properly.
All right.
Easy, girl. There's not much I can tell you. The frequenters said that before the bridge was broken, the city had a Xiangrui as a guardian. It looked like a horse, and it rode faster than the wind, but its story is long lost to time. No one knows if it's real. Do you know what a Xiangrui does? Or how to become one? Just like in every story, they help people when they need it and disappear soon after they're safe. As for how to become one, they're monsters and yaos. I've never heard of a person becoming a Xiangrui. Seeing Jiu Niangzi sitting there with her ears perked up, she dares not hold back a single word. You're just like that boy from the silk store. He too could listen to the stories of yaos and monsters all day long. He asked people about the stories in the classic of mountains and seas every single day. Little by little, he learned how to read without even going to school. If you want to know more about Xiangrui, maybe Mr. Liu from the clinic can help. He's knowledgeable. He might be able to teach you how to read. And then you can help me with the bookkeeping or writing toasts. Jiu Niangzi feels a surge of joy within her. If she could read, then she could read books, and as she has heard many say, books contain absolutely everything. Surely that includes everything about the Xiangrui too. Without hesitation, she agrees and promptly sets out to find Mr. Liu.
Hey!
Oh, before you go, take this. Monsieur pulls out a sheet of jute paper, carefully wraps 12 buns within it, and ties it up. She then takes out some coins and asks Jiu Niangzi to give them to Mr. Liu together with the buns.
This is...
Are the coins for medicine? Are you sick?
No, silly, it's not for me. It's for the favor you're about to ask.
Sweetie, when you're asking someone for a favor, you don't come empty-handed. That's what matters in socializing. You still have a lot to learn.
Okay, I took a moment to think about this because if she was just asking for information, well, it's just a piece of information, you don't need to pay him. But then again, she said he was probably going to help her read. In that case, it's a lesson and a service. So, yeah, money are needed.
So, buns and money equal good etiquette?
How strange. It is heavy to carry.
As a half moon wanes and the new moon rises, the streets bustle with life. Now, on a Chilikuban afternoon, Jiu Niangzi visits a clinic at the end of a street to meet Mr. Liu and learn the art of letters and words. To avoid disturbing the clinic's work, Jiu Niangzi often brings a small stool to sit on by the doorway.
As warmth fades, the cold follows, the autumn leaves harvest begins.
Autumn harvest begins, and we hoard food for winter. Jiu Niangzi, are you still having trouble reciting 1,000-character classic? I'm confused. You learn everything quickly except for reading. Every time I teach you how to read something, you forget it right away.
Well, it shows that.
I suppose not everyone is gifted enough to read.
Reading is so much harder than serving liquor. I always get a headache when I start reading something, and these characters look like earthworms.
Sky black, earth golden, vast universe, limitless cosmos. Knowledge and culture were easily lost before Kangzhi invented characters. I hope I'm pronouncing this correct. Through reading these earthworms, wisdom, discipline, and manners have been passed down for generations. One is not civilized until one is able to read the books of the stages of that.
That Kangzhi sounds like a bad guy. He could have made the characters easier to read if he really wanted people to learn.
Well, as a person who's learning Japanese, I second to that. because some kanjis can be really hard to remember because of the many lines that you have to use. So yeah, I get it. Even for Chinese it's the same. These languages are very hard to remember, and even people who speak the languages don't remember everything from what I've heard, so yeah. Her argument is valid.
Do you know that?
Mr. Liu, do you know what a Xiangrui is? Miss Shu said that you're knowledgeable and would be able to answer my questions.
The so-called Xiangrui.
Mr. Liu pauses momentarily. Fortunately, his proclivity for reading allows him to address the question with ease, thus preserving his dignity in front of a young lady. Also known as the sign of auspiciousness. When it appears, it's a good omen from heaven, and things will go well.
However,
But its form is unpredictable. It could be a colorful cloud, 2-spike wheat, or a dry spring that somehow flourishes. Under some circumstances, it could even be an exotic beast. The phrase exotic beast strikes Jiu Niangzi like a hammer, prompting her to inquire further.
Oh, do you know how an animal becomes a Xiangrui?
it's...
How could I know? The books I read are the philosophical studies of sages and scholars, not monster stories for children.
Then you don't know anything either. I thought you knew everything.
These words leave Mr. Liu speechless. All he can do is scratch his head. I don't think scholars are well versed into this kind of stories. You better find a storyteller instead. Suddenly, he remembers that there are other ways to chronicle the world's wonders besides words. He strides into the clinic and re-emerges with several dusty, time-worn tomes in hand. As he unfurls their pages, they reveal coarsely printed illustrations of mountain spirits and wild monsters, each annotated in a diminutive square script. Here, these are picture books about the monster stories you like. There's only a little text. You can research the Xiangrui legends while learning some characters. 2 birds, 1 stone, and all that. Jiu Niangzi takes the book and cradles it gently in her hands. She turns the pages in awe. Seizing this quiet moment, Mr. Liu takes out 2 rice buns and places a large bowl on the counter.
Huh?
I want a rice bun too.
I remember that...
So you can drink. I thought Miss Shu said you didn't like the taste of liquor. Even the most experienced drinker can eat a rice bun without water. Oh, so these rice buns are a little hard to digest, like that liquor that she tried when she was little.
What are you talking about? I don't drink. I just want to know what the rice bun tastes like. Miss Shu's never let me have one before.
Oh dear, so Miss Shu didn't tell you. I fear I've said too much. But you do live in the tavern and help her do all the work. It's only a matter of time before you find out. Alright, I'll show you. Mr. Liu carefully crumbles a rice bun into the bowl. He then pours hot tea over it, and the familiar aroma wafts. Oh, into Jiu Niangzi's nostrils. Damn, she's smart. That mellow fermented fragrance mixed with the dry scent of sesame and the smoky aroma of the roasted hearth fills the air.
Huh?
The water turns the bun into liquor.
Jiu Niangzi leans over the counter, her delicate face reflected in the bowl. The rice bun has dissolved, leaving only a few grains at the bottom of the bowl. Because of the liquor ban, we can't directly buy liquor, so Monsieur came up with the rice bun idea. The Jiu Niangzi used in the buns is specially made, keeping most of the alcohol in it, so that the bun has a strong smell of alcohol. Eating it is like drinking distilled alcohol, only a drunkard could handle that. But watering down makes it easy to drink. A bowl of this liquor can make all your worries go away.
So that's why the people come and buy buns during the liquor bun. Miss Shu is so clever. What a creative way to give people drinks.
Drinking a bowl or two and getting lost in your own thoughts. This is one of a few entertainments for us common people. The liquor ban has led to some inventive ways for people to get their liquor.
However...
Luckily, the government is not very strict about it, and thanks to Monsieur's, drinkers like us can have a sip when they want.
I never knew that. Miss Shu is really helping people. I should do that too. As soon as I get back to the tavern, I'll tell her that I'll help her deliver the buns.
This spirited young girl, showing such audacity in her utter indifference to the laws against liquor, earns nothing but admiration from Mr. Liu.
However...
But remember, you didn't hear this from me.
You didn't tell me anything. I figured it out myself.
Yeah, so she told her, we're not a bakery. I should have caught it right there. But yeah, this is... this is very smart. Nice. Stage 4. A place to belong. Time slips away, and despite the arrival of another liquor-bun day, the tavern seems busier than usual. It is only morning, and the tavern is already bustling with life. The door stands ajar, as per tradition, allowing the scent of sesame to drift outwards as fresh rice buns tumble into baskets, their steam coiling into the air. Unlike previous days, another petite figure waits nearby, wearing light woken shoes and carrying a soft cloth bundle. 41, 42, 43, 50 rice buns in total. Fresh out the oven, smells good, worth the hard work. I was up before the sun. Do you think you can make it? You'll have to walk through basically half the city to deliver all the buns.
Don't worry, it's not my first time. I'll run as fast as I can.
Still remember customers and their orders?
Sure I do. 2 buns for the butcher on the West Street, 4 for the tea room on the South Alley. The family across the bridge wants 3, and,
Jiu Niangzi retrieves a piece of paper from his sleeve upon which a map has been haphazardly drawn, marking the locations of the shops she must deliver to today.
See, I wrote it down. Since I've learned how to read and write, I can remember them easily.
Upon closer inspection, the list would give most people a good laugh. Aside from a few familiar characters, the rest is made up of drawings resembling an scripted espionage missive. It is highly unlikely that anyone but her would be able to decipher it. Be careful. Say alert on the patrollers. If you're thirsty, just ask for a cup of tea when you get to the tea room. The owner will give you one.
Yeah, all right.
Before she finishes a sentence, Jiu Niangzi is dashing out the door, taking a huge swift strides as she runs down the street and disappears into the distance. Compared to that little beggar of years past, she looks like a completely different person. Without Jiu Niangzi's help, it would not be possible to deliver rice buns to people in other districts of the city. Monsieur shines with gratitude.
Should I go east or west first? Or I could start with the closer one and then the furthest one. So many orders to deliver, so many people to meet.
Amidst her musings, a wooden doll peeks its head out from her sleeve of her garment.
And things about Xiangrui to ask, don't forget. Oh, right, Xiangrui. I need to ask around. Hey, I didn't call you. Why did you come out? Hide, quickly.
After tucking the wooden doll back into her sleeve, Jiu Niangzi spends half the day running through the city and delivers over half of the rice buns. Now, guided by her own map, she arrives at the edge of an alley and knocks on a weathered wooden door. I'm coming. Finally, the font of my inspiration has arrived. Artists do be like that. It was either smoking opium or drinking till they fall apart, I guess. I've been waiting all day, Jiu Niangzi.
Mr. Lee, the buns you ordered are here.
That's good. Very good.
Great. I'll get water to mix them together. Dude was waiting for his arrival and already sounds drunk. I don't know what he's talking about. Mr. Lee's hands are strained with ink, and looking in front of the doorway, the room appears to be strewn with sheets of white rice paper, the fresh ink still glistening on the surfaces. In the tavern, where the town's drinkers gather, none are aware of the poetic talents of Mr. Lee. A lover of verse and ink, he often likens himself to the great poets, Du Fu and Li Bai.
Mr. Lee, are you still writing poems?
The tavern was too noisy. By the time I got home, my inspiration had all been driven away. Luckily, today is liquor ban day, so I woke up with a clear mind. I woke up before 7 in the morning and started creating right away, but hot liquor will help my ideas flow. Thanks for the buns. Mr. Lee dissolves the rice bun in the tea, and with a single gulp, he drinks it down. Within moments, a flash of color. What? Wait. Excellent. What a drink. What an excellent mood I'm in right now. Guys, I didn't press it. It just kept going. Mr. Lee dissolves a rice bun in tea, and with a single gulp, he drinks it down. Within moments, a flash of color spreads across his face. Witnessing this scene, Jiu Niangzi's curiosity is piqued. Since she started working at the tavern, she has seen all manners of drinkers, yet she remains unaware of the reason behind their indulgence.
People say drinking makes you smarter. Is that so?
I can speak for others, but it doesn't make me smarter, but bolder. Often, without drinking, I feel fettered and I can't write a single word. But a bowl of liquor emboldens me, like I'm a general riding a horse, running on the field of creativity. And somehow, the poems I write when I'm in this mood are better than the others.
Sounds like liquor can give people energy. The guests are always energetic and loud after drinking.
By the way,
I heard you've been studying with Mr. Liu. Why didn't you come to me? I'm much more accomplished than him, intelligent and erudite. Let me read something to you. Goose, goose, goose. Jiu Niangzi hastily excuses herself, saying that she still has many buns to deliver, and scurries away. Thus, Jiu Niangzi traverses several streets more until she arrives at another household and knocks on the door. Her knock resounds. The door is opened by an elderly man with grey hair, a familiar face often seen at the tavern. Finally, the taste of the rice bun liquor lingers in my mouth for days. Using half a bun a day is equal to 4 days drinking. God damn. Thank you, Jiu Niangzi, for delivering them for me. And send my thanks to Monsieur as well. And Jiu Niangzi hands over the rice buns. She suddenly recalls the wooden door's admonition.
Mr. Shen, could you tell me more about the Xiangrui you mentioned in the tavern that day? Mr. Shu told me you've met a lot of people and know a lot of things. Maybe that includes the story about a Xiangrui too.
what?
Why are you suddenly asking me this? But she's right, I know many things. It is an age-old story. Every Xiangrui looks different, resides in different locations, and has their own duty.
From what I know, a Xiangrui blesses its people. But how does the blessing work?
Old drinker leans against the doorframe. For some time he strokes his whiskers as he contemplates how to give Jiu Niangzi a satisfactory answer. The blessing, I'd say, satisfies the wishes of people. Like Monsieur in her tavern, she provides a place for drinkers like me to enjoy liquor and makes us rice buns when drinking is banned. She's such a blessing, with much more bark than bite, and the liquor she makes is so smooth it whisks away my sorrows. Old drinker then falls into reminiscence as he begins muttering to himself. Liquor. I suppose liquor is a good thing. It comforts people. I was once too young to enjoy it, and now I'm too old to enjoy life. Only a bowl of liquor can take me back to enjoying that youth that I can only visit in my dreams. As the sun is setting and Jiu Niangzi still has several rice buns to deliver, she bids farewell to the old drinker and hurries off. As she glances back, she sees him sitting by the door, cradling his rice buns and liquor and softly humming a tune. On her journey, Jiu Niangzi contemplates the blessing old drinker mentioned. Guided by her map, she unknowingly steps onto the threshold of the last house on her list. Jitsu.
Monsieur runs the tavern to satisfy people's wishes to drink. Is that a blessing? To become a Xiangrui, I need to...
Lost in thought, Jiu Niangzi finds her path obstructed by a formidable figure. The man out of habit presses down the short sword at his waist, adjusts its position, and clears his throat to remind her of his presence. Seeing that Jiu Niangzi is still lost in her reverie, the man clears his throat once more. Jiu Niangzi, you're late. 2 hours late. Lucky for you, Li Jing is still working on the ledger of the New Year's purchase.
Fatel, why are you here? What's late? I'm just, wandering on the street. I don't know what you're talking about.
Recalling Monsieur's words, she quickly takes a step back to distance herself from him. You have around 7 or 8 buns with you, do you not? You can give them to me now. After a moment of hesitation, Jiu Niangzi hands over the rest of the buns, her heart pounding in her chest, anticipating the judgment of the law. Unsure of what the punishment might be for breaking the liquor ban, Jiu Niangzi waits silently. But he does not blame her. Instead, he fishes out 7 or 8 copper coins from his person and counts them out before presenting them to her.
This is...
It's for the buns. We officers aren't freeloaders.
Hurry. Take this.
The rice buns. Made from the materials for making liquor if you just eat them like that.
I know.
Yesterday I sent someone to the tavern and asked that they be sent to the Jitsu. I expected you to arrive earlier. A member of the patrol team just got promoted. We've been waiting for this to celebrate. Oh. Yeah, I didn't think he was testing her either. I thought he just was taking the buns for the others, for whoever else asked for it. I don't know, Li Zhang or somebody else. As he speaks, a figure emerges from the jutsu, exuding an air of authority and kindness. It is Li Zhang. Jiu Niangzi hasn't seen him for quite some time. My work is done here. Time to head back, Fatso.
Huh?
Is this Jiu Niangzi? You've grown up now. I heard you doing a good job at the tavern. The patrollers always talk about you.
Thank you, Li Zhang.
But what are you two talking about? Is this something I should know?
Nothing. I'm just asking Facho about Xiangrui. I've been studying with Mr. Liu these days and saw the word Xiangrui. It's said to be some divine beast that protects people, but nothing more. So I was asking him about the Xiangrui in Pei Seed.
Perhaps it's been recorded in the collections at the country archive.
Can I check them?
Citizens are prohibited from entering the archive. Along with the collections, the classified county annuals are preserved there. Put your curiosity away, Jiu Niangzi. It's time for you to go back home now. With Li Zhang and Fa Chao heading into the distance, Jiu Niangzi gives her bundle a shake, catches some sesame seeds in her hand, and starts chewing on them. Throughout the day, Jiu Niangzi encountered many individuals, but Fa Chao's actions intrigued her more than anything else. It seems his prohibition is indeed as lax as Mr. Shu claimed, so why, she wonders, has it not yet been abolished?